All right, Wolfpack Nation, we are back for part 2, y'all, of our 2023-2024 NC State Wrestling season preview, y'all. As always, with our friend of the show here, Nigel Jones, a former state wrestler, y'all. If you haven't checked out part 1, make sure to go do that first and foremost, and then come right back here, y'all, where we continue right where we left off here with the 165 weight class. And this is actually a weight class where, if I'm looking at a weakness, quote unquote, and I'm saying weakness very loosely
compared to the rest of the squad, right?
Compared to the rest of the squad, this maybe would be it. And again, I say that very loosely because I mean, Matty Singleton, I mean, a guy that pulled off still to my mind, at least the highlight for his season so far being, or for his career so far being that he's only a sophomore, was last year when he won at Virginia Tech. And then he threw his headgear and got a team point deduction, even though he threw the team. And I'll give some other insight on Nigel. I don't know if I texted you this or not, but I actually talked to Pop about that. And apparently he actually got a letter from the ACC saying that shouldn't have been a team point deduction. So which I was like, interesting. And I mean, totally the right call. Again, you threw it towards your own bench. Yeah. He was facing away from the wrestler. That wasn't any kind of gloating whatsoever. That was a celebration, just as anybody else celebrates. Like if that's a team point deduction, then bro,
yeah,
then we really got to check everything else.
It didn't matter though. If my memory serves me correctly at the end.
It did. No, it didn't matter.
Usually, but it could have that match it does, but at that time,
it could have.
It
could have. But Matty Singleton, so because I was looking, he's not even ranked right now in Intermat right now.
Oh, he hasn't wrestled this year
enough.
He hasn't wrestled enough. Okay, cool.
He hasn't wrestled at all this year. I don't think.
Oh, at all?
No, I think we have
Kovacs.
David.
KJ Kovacs.
KJ Kovacs.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, is it more of injury that he's coming off of, or is it that they're trying to give Kovacs a shot?
I asked, and I have not got an answer yet.
What's going on?
That tells you everything you need to know, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're both sophomores, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit of let's see what Kovacs can give us. But I mean, maybe Singleton's dealing with something too. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Matty, when he was a freshman, he was actually an 82-pounder. So coming from he wrestled 182 in high school. Now he's wrestling 165. So
that's a big
heavy,
drop.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. So I would assume, and then again, I've asked, and I have, I guess I have not
talked around it.
Well, maybe off camera, but I will. Yeah. I'm assuming this. This is actually I don't have any back channeling information. I'm assuming there's something to do with some kind of weight cut or making sure that he can stay healthy, and we'll probably see him either. If we don't see him at the turn of the semester, we'll probably see Kovacs for the rest of the year.
Maybe redshirt him.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
yeah. He was a true freshman last year.
So for sake of time, we'll just say to be determined with 165. But either way, between Kovacs and Singleton, whatever does come out with it, you're fine. You're still competing 100%, but to be determined there with that. But moving on to 174 here with our guy Alex Faison at 174, and I actually it was really until the media day press conference that it clicked to me, be like, oh shoot, Faison's back, because I mean he competed in senior day, and I mean it was pretty much said that he was going to go and enter into the Army, start his career there. But then basically from what I heard, basically the coaching staff kind of basically just talked to Faison, was just like, hey, listen, man, we think we got big plans for you if you do decide to come back, and he decided to do so. And I think a lot of it honestly was, and I kind of joke with Pop about it, but I think honestly how close he got to beating Mekhi Lewis at the ACC championship, I was like, Pop, you got to tell me that had to got that taste, you know what I mean, of man, I was that close to pulling off that huge upset. I was that close. And so I think that honestly has something to do with it, and especially now, again, Mekhi Lewis, only a senior, which I'm like, dude, we've been seeing Mekhi Lewis for years now, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like he was wrestling when I was wrestling.
Exactly. No, I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, this guy, you heard about this guy winning his world championship, I feel like decades ago now. And so So kind of give me your thoughts here, on your thoughts on Alex here, Nigel. I mean, tough weight class, obviously, with Carter Staracci from Penn State being the, I'm sure, heavy favorites to win the weight class once again. But I mean, Mekhi Lewis, who again, I mean, has all the experience in the world, former world champion. I mean,
national champion too, right?
National champion too.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but give me your thoughts on Alex and then kind of the weight class in general, Nigel.
Well, when I graduated and I first started coaching, one of the first kids that we had at our club was Alex. So I very personal connection. I coach his little brother too, who's also on the team. So I could do a whole podcast of how I feel about Alex, and just like when he came back, like when you get his role on the team last year was just a guy who went through the wrestling system at NC State, and he was kind of proof of that, right? He wasn't recruited. He probably was never recruited to be a starter on the team, bought into the system, got an opportunity, was probably just kind of filling in at first. And they said, well, wait a minute. Let's see what we got here. He shows them, comes back the next year, shows them even more, gets really close to beating Mekhi. I was actually sitting right next to Mekhi Lewis's parents at ACCs, and we talked. I was like, oh, man, I love your son. He's such a cool guy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, guys, I'm very sorry. I'm 100% rooting against your son right now. So
yeah,
gotta keep it real.
So, and they were cool, and they were really cool. And Mekhi's like a cool kid too. But I was like, oh man, But getting back to Alex, we talked about this last year and what like different kinds of leaders on the team, and Alex is cut from that same kind of cloth as like Mike Mock, where like he was recruited to be a locker room guy. He was recruited just to be a team guy who's going to show you if you do everything right, you're going to win. And that was kind of what his role was. And I think when he also got the opportunity, because he fit that role so well, that just like his leadership on the team, the way everyone on the team respects him, and he's kind of like a pace starter for the team. So like he's kind of like he's a little bit of the heartbeat of the team, and Trent's the everything of the team. But Alex is whatever Trent is, Alex is right underneath that too. So from what I can tell from watching him and everything, so him coming back, if we're gonna get a team trophy, he's going to be involved with it. And it literally might just be a win. He might win a match at his AC. He might win a match at NCAAs. He might major somebody on the backside, and that's going to be the reason why we're going to be in a team trophy. So I think, and not a crazy ton of pressure on him, but that's what his role is going to be on the team. And it's like having him come back is going to be huge. And it's going to allow someone else to redshirt another year and take their process a little bit slower. So that's very huge.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, Trent's a heart and soul guy, but Alex is a glue guy, right? Like yeah, he just kind of when he I don't know if he's a vocal guy or not, but by the way you're describing him, it's like when someone sees him do something, they want to go emulate what he's doing because it's the right way to do it. And
exactly.
Every team sport, I don't care what it is, they need that guy. They need that guy to pick the rest of the team up if the team's, just needs a little, to get over a hump. But he's a really fun one to watch. He just goes out and he's not flashy, right? He's not Trent, or Kai, but he just goes out and does his job and does it well. And whatever is asked of him, it seems like he just goes and makes it happen, and no questions asked.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah, no, again, I mean, he's a guy that I mean, more likely, I mean, if he can pull off the biggest upset of a lifetime and compete, for All-American and national stats, and hey, all the power to him. But just like you said, I mean, like with the team and how good it is this year, you don't need him to be that guy. So no need to put necessarily that pressure on him. But again, he's a guy that if it's a wrestler, if it's any wrestler in the country, he's going to compete. But if it's a guy, from, I would say 15 or lower, I mean, he can win that match, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well,
he's also a guy that's not going to go get blown out either, right? He's going to keep you in the match either way, whether he's going to get a win and get you points or, get a close loss and, he's going to just get the bare minimum 3 points.
Agreed. All righty, so let's move on to 184 here, and again, another freshman phenom, Dylan Fishback, man.
He's been crushing it.
And what? And it's funny. We'll talk about Isaac Trumbull here more at the 197. But I remember when there was the talks about Isaac redshirt, and that a lot of talks was we really like Dylan Fishback. Like we really believe this guy could be a national contender for us. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've seen that so far. I mean, this guy's 11-2 right now. He's he's right now number 14. He was 20th the week before, so I mean he's rolling up the rankings quickly. And
finished 7th last weekend in Vegas.
Yep. And I mean, and again, you look at the guys above them. I mean, so Oklahoma State Dustin Plott, he's at number 3.
He's gonna get a chance at him.
Cornell, Chris Foca,
get a chance at him.
Number 9, he gets a chance at him.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's opportunities there.
There's a lot of opportunities. Gavin Kane from UNC is number 18. Sam Fisher from Virginia Tech is number 17. So literally 14, 17, and 18 are all ACC right there. So I think there's a stacked opportunities on the schedule here for him this year, an opportunity to really kick this door wide open if he continues to do what he's been doing.
Yeah, I think so too. He has a really good, even in his redshirt year last year, he had really good wins. I think he placed at Midlands. And Midlands is a really, really hard tournament. And he placed at Cliff Clean, and he lost to Nebraska kid in overtime, and then he lost to the Michigan kid, and also
Lenny Pinto.
Yeah, both of those matches were in overtime, and both of those guys are older guys. So they're like kind of like veteran, and they can kind of navigate those types of matches. So I think Fishback's going to be one of the guys that like come the end of the year, he's gonna start wrestling himself into position. It's hard to get those reps when you're not like look his wrestling partners are. He's been behind Isaac and he's been behind Trent. So like he knows how to he knows how to wrestle. He knows how to wrestle the big guys. He knows how to wrestle the good guys. And I think as the season goes along, it's a long season. We're getting ready to go to the second semester of the season. Like we're gonna start seeing kids who were doing well at the beginning of the year, maybe not do so well, right? So different school schedule, different whatever, all that kind of stuff factors in, and I think is just a good recipe for Fishback to like. And he has an all-time cool wrestling name, by the way. But I think he's beating good guys already. He's going to be right in the mix, right? He beat Trey Munoz from Oregon State. I think he was a blood round guy last year, he All-American last year. So he's gonna he's already kind of navigating that tough weight class. So we'll see him in some matches in March, I think, for sure.
That's awesome. All right, so let's move on to the meet, I feel like, and this is, I think, the one that I guess was the quote-unquote most controversial conversation heading into, from the offseason with the news that Isaac Trumbull, 197, they decided to do an Olympic red shirt on. And, it's kind of funny because I actually talked to Isaac at a baseball game, actually, and when the news started going, I asked him about it, and it didn't really seem like he was really a fan of it, but at the end of the day, he was a guy that, he seemed like he absolutely trusted what,
like it's worked out.
Pop was saying. I was exactly what I was saying. It kind of worked out. I mean, he won the U23 world championship, his weight class. I mean, yeah, I think, if you ask him now, it's a great move because again, I mean, he has a world championship on his resume, and on top of it, he gets the opportunity to work with Trent, to really hone in, grow his game, and then come back. And I think he still has 2 years of eligibility remaining as well, which is crazy to think about. Because again, he's another guy. I feel like Mekhi Lewis that like he's been around forever. I mean, he used to have long flowing blonde dreads, and now he's got this short hair on his head. So, but I mean. I think with Trent Hidlay, the biggest thing here is deciding to move from 184 to 197, which I mean is unanimously said that just like with Hayden, he just wanted to be at a more of a natural weight for him. It's just he was done cutting the weight, which again completely understandable after doing it for 4 years. I mean, I get it. So and I just like no, absolutely. But the interesting thing, then the kind of the question, and I want to ask you is, when Aaron Brooks made the announcement first that he was moving from Aaron Brooks from Penn State, who Trent Hidley's lost to, I think, 3 times now in the NCAAs, moved from 184 and 197. So everybody was like, why wouldn't he just stay at 184? That way you don't have to face Brooks once again, and actually have a shot. But I feel like with Trent his last year, comfortable weight, and again, also too, I think a benefit with how much of a competitor he is. I think he wants another shot at Brooks. I think he wants the last shot. I think he wants to be like he wants to go out if he can, getting his hand raised last, of the times that he's faced Aaron Brooks. I mean, so would you agree with me there? That's maybe a little bit of his mindset too.
I agree with you 100%, and I kind of cracked a smile there because it will not be if they wrestle at NCAAs, that will not be the last time they wrestle. They're going to be wrestling for world teams. They're going to be wrestling against each other for Olympic spots. They're going to be like they're
going to see a lot of each other,
right? So I think that kind of goes into the thing where you're like, why? You said saying like, oh, why not stay at 184? And it's like, for Trent to do what he wants to do legacy wise and what he wants to do post NC State career wise, he's going to have to beat Aaron Brooks. So like the narrative of like staying in a weight class and like there's no easy way, right? Like the guy at 184 was the guy at 184 now is a returning finalist from 197. He just transferred to Penn State. And that guy has a really cool story. He's like he's like the reverse Cal Dake, not reverse Cal Dake, but like he's won. He's All-American, he's All-American at every single weight class, 74, 84, 97. And now he's going back down to 184. So everyone thought he was going to go up to heavyweight and try to make it for, but he actually went back down to 184. So, but that guy's good too. And like, just, you can't say like the Hidleys. I think when I was at NC State, we were kind of like middle of the road, kind of mediocre. And then Tommy took control of that team and he brought him to the next level. And then Tommy kind of with the other Hidley brother, when he got there, Hayden, when Hayden got there, he kind of like brought the level up again, and Trent is sustaining that level right now. And him coming back for a 6th year is incredibly important to not only to like into what Pat's trying to do there is like very huge, because Pat is from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State job might have been, this is no inside information, the Oklahoma State job might have been open. You saw the UNC coach who also wrestled with Pat at Oklahoma State. He left the head coaching position to take the associate head coaching position, which kind of says he's next in line, right? So I think I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to not think that Pat wasn't called first or in that conversation to take over that job, right?
They've never beat us.
Much more sustained success,
yeah, they never beat us.
Yeah, so I think I think he looked at his team and what he built and the place that he was able to do here, and I think he straight up said, I think I can win here more. I think I can win here, and I think I can win bigger here than I can at Oklahoma State. And it starts with Trent. And
I mean, it could be his team, his legacy. Like there's like, for some reason people say Dabo Swinney should go to Bama. Why? Like, he can literally be Clemson football. Like, but if he goes to Bama, he has to compete with Saban and those guys. If Pop goes to Oklahoma State, then he's going to have to compete with the legacy of all the other great coaches that come before him. But Greg, I do want to ask you too, like with the Hidley brothers, any kind of piggyback, you can kind of talk about Pop and the Hidley brothers. But I do want to ask you in terms of how much that a set of brothers have done for NC State. Would you put Hayden Hidley and Trent Hidley right up there in terms of impact they did for their program with Terrence Holt and Torrey Holt?
Oh, I thought you were going to go the Martin twins from basketball. No.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Get out of here.
Oh, that's funny.
So I think in fairness, there's no doubt about the Holt brothers and what they've done since they've left NC State. So, I think the book is still open for the Hidley brothers to see what they do post-graduation. Obviously, sure. Hayden has gone on to coaching at North Dakota State. Maybe at some point he comes back to NC State and continues the legacy. But from a and this is no slight at Terrence, but Tori was obviously the better Holt. I think both the Hidley brothers are almost equal. I mean, from what they've accomplished. Both sets of brothers, awesome. I would say the Hidleys are a little bit more than the Holt brothers. But I don't know, Nigel. Again, I'm still new to the sport. Is there a college wrestling Hall of Fame? I would assume there is. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. And I don't know what the status is. Obviously, Tori will be in the College Football Hall of Fame if he's not already. Which I think actually last year he got in.
He did.
And so I think there's your how you define one set of brothers over the other.
Sure. Yeah. But, in terms of talking about Pop, I remember that, I think it was back when Nick was winning he won his second national championship and we were competing, top 10 in the NCAAs. And there was a job that was coming available, or maybe there was talks about Oklahoma State and Pop taking over or something like that. And there was a tweet that went out from a fan being like, Pop, please don't leave for one of the Blue Bloods. And he literally responded and said, we are a Blue Blood, which I loved. I love that response, being like we are in Oklahoma State. We are we are one of the Ohio State. Now, I mean, I think that Penn State's in a class by itself, and I think every wrestling would agree with that. Penn State's just stupid.
Just what he's bringing in talent wise. I mean, out of the last 10 seasons, 5 of them have been top 10 recruiting classes. The last 3 or 4 have been top 5. He's just slowly. It's a slow burn. Now we just got to get. We've accomplished everything. Obviously on the ACC level, we got to break through at nationals. I think that's the next. The next step, right?
Yeah, and this is the team. This is the team.
This is the team. 100%.
This is the team. Penn State has 6 guys ranked in the ones. If not 1, then 2. Right? Mm-hmm. Everyone on that team except for the 25-pounder, which is kind of a running joke at this point for Penn State. But everyone on that team, and I think if you're looking at it paper to paper, we're the team in a tournament that matches up with them.
Okay,
we match up. We match up with them. So this is the year. I think team trophy. You can't do the thing where it's championship or bust, because we have not done that here yet, and that would be unrealistic to say that if we come out of here with a 3rd place or 2nd place or 4th place finish.
4th is our best, right?
Yeah.
4th is the best.
Yeah. We don't get a team trophy anymore for 4th place anymore. So when I say I think this is a team, I think this is a team title team. Yeah, this is a top 3 team. This is the best. I think this is going to be the year when recruits are looking to go places. You can win at NC State. We got the guys on this team, and we've had the guys on this team to prove it. Pat's turned good guys into great guys. He's turned great recruits to historically great recruits, and he's turned guys who weren't recruited at all, me, Malak, Tommy, guys like us, into All-American. I wasn't an All-American, but he's turned those guys into All-Americans, and he turned Nick into one of the best heavyweights of all time. There's only been one heavyweight to win 3 titles. And Nick was a finalist 3 times. So
Nick was one overtime away from pulling it off
against the second greatest. You know what I mean? This is probably second greatest.
Kyle Schneider, right?
Yeah. So I think Nick, heavyweight is a long lineage of really good. Gable Stevenson, of course, him.
Oh yeah, Gable Stevenson's great.
And then Nick, and then Tony Nelson, and Zach Ray. Those are some. You guys just started wrestling,
but
those are some historic names. And what Pat's been able to do with this team, and we got to talk about heavyweight next anyways, but what Pat's been able to do with this team, you can win here. We got national champions, we got multiple time All-Americans, we got 4-time All-Americans. You can win here. You can win here.
Well, especially too, as of this episode, we've come out with our interview with Pack of Wolves, who one of their biggest announcements that they're kind of wanted us to kind of help push out there is that now they've expanded into really focusing on NIL for wrestling too. In order to be able to bring in guys and keep guys here, because now even NIL for wrestling has become a thing. Now, I mean, there's
Nigel's dang it.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah. But I mean, now the price tag isn't the same as like college football, for example.
Not six figures.
But
yeah.
But it's there's significant money again thrown around that can make a difference. And so now that we're able to compete from NIL side as well, it all goes down to it. But let's move on here to which, by the way, though, if you are a wrestling fan and you do want to support NIL, make sure to go check out Pack of Wolves. Click the support button, hit the drop down menu, and go wrestling, and then hit click, and then donate however much you'd like, and that money will go specifically to NIL for wrestling. So now finishing up with 285, the heavyweight class, and a guy that, I mean, he's my dude, man. Owen Trefon, man. He's my guy. yeah. Like this dude's awesome, and I think it more of excites me too because and we talked about this last year about how I think the biggest thing that's been holding us back, not holding us back, but I think it's something that we've really needed is we haven't really had a guy that could compete with the top guys since Gwiz, like consistently compete with the top guys since Gwiz. And I mean, Owen Trefon has proven that he can be that guy. I mean, he's a guy that, I think won 2 or 3 matches in the NCAAs last year. And now too, I mean, the two main guys, the guy from Air Force and the Gable Stevenson, are both gone. So not to say it's wide open, but I mean, he's still only a junior. That's the other crazy thing too. But I mean, from a ACC perspective, he's the highest guy ranked right now on Intermat from ACC. So, I mean, for me, just continue the expectation of win the ACC championship over Hunter Katka. I mean, he's beaten a couple times now in a row from Virginia Tech, but crack through NCAAs, and try and compete for that All-American status. But Nigel, thoughts in terms of what are you wanting for him to improve on, really, from what you saw last year for this year to compete for that All-American status?
I think watching him wrestle, he very explosive, more, and I hate to sound like I want to say like cerebral, but he's very surprisingly athletic, more than you thought. Kind of the same thing with Nick. Nick was incredibly athletic. He was not people just thought he was big. The dude could run, he could jump, he could dunk a basketball. Nick was athletic. And I think Owen is kind of right there, realistically, his style of wrestling. So what I would like to see, from a fan perspective, from Owen, is to kind of take that next step. He's doing everything right. He was 2-2 last year at NCAAs, and that's kind of what you need from him, which kind of asks. But I think he could keep the consistency. That's what we need. That's what this team needs. We don't need any big booms or busts. I'd rather it be a straight boop, 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 a steady rise the entire time, or even plateau until we get to March. I think he's consistent. I want to see him keep doing the same things, and I want to see him string together some wins more so than. What I mean by string together some wins, I want him to go on a streak. I want to see a 10-match win streak, 15-match win streak out of him. And I think he's capable, especially with the schedule that we have coming up. He's going to be able to wrestle the Campbell heavyweight. He's going to be able to wrestle the who are we wrestling against for the Big Ten? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter.
Ohio State coming up this weekend in Nashville.
Yeah. So that kid's a freshman, the Ohio State freshman. So he's gonna be able to mix it up with those guys, and then I think we're gonna see some promise from him. And I think we just need to make sure we come out on the right side of those. And if we don't come out on the right side of those, we need to see technique as far as him getting a takedown. He didn't get a takedown in a Kerfleet match, and the Greg Kerfleet, he's the number 1 heavyweight right now. He lost to him 7-2, but 7-2 is not, that's not shameful. That's pretty close. So let's start getting some takedowns on those guys, and he'll be right in the mix. We'll be talking about him like how we talk about Ed, how we talk about Kai. I think this year's going to be a big year for him for sure.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits.
They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time wearing and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
And I do want to clarify one thing, Greg, before I bring you in here. So actually, Dayton Pitzer from Pittsburgh, who's a freshman, is number 14. So 3 spots above Owen at 17. Just to clarify there. But go ahead, Greg. Thoughts on Owen?
Yeah, Owen's going to be a guy that can compete at ACCs. Like you said, you just got a guy from Pitt that's just a few slots ahead of him. So he'll be right there when it's come time. The big thing, though, is at nationals, to everyone's point, we need that heavyweight spot to get some points at nationals. Obviously, you need everyone rowing in the same direction when you get to nationals. But the one spot that has, kind of not, I hate to use the word carry their weight, it has been the heavyweight class up until the last couple of years. And so this is a chance where Owen now is, last year I think he was at the beginning of the season splitting time at heavyweight, if I remember correctly. And now this is his show, right? And so he can feel comfortable, go out and wrestle his game, not have to look over his shoulder, and go out there and get some much needed points for the team.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he beat the kid, the UNC kid last year.
Yeah.
He beat him in the duel. Yeah. Wrestling, like, what is it for wrestling for the red shirt? 4, you get 4 conference matches, and it doesn't count, or something like that. I don't know.
I'm not smart enough about it for,
for wrestling. And I follow the sport. I have no idea what's going on with the red shirts. Not in a bad way. I'm all for, if you can do it, if you can let them wrestle for 10 years, like, let them do it.
Sure.
They're close. Some of these guys are close.
Yeah. But so I do want to move in terms of talking about the schedule, though. We start off hot, January 5th, Friday night in Jimmy V against Oklahoma State. Bam, which is a match that got announced later. I think like even only a month and a half ago, it got announced.
Right, that was the split from going to Italy. Now they're doing a home and home.
Exactly. Yeah. So huge duel there, and then you got UNC at home on February 2nd. You got Virginia at home February 9th. Cornell at home February 16th. So literally 3 weekends in a row. You got 3 huge 15, home duels. Yeah, top 15, top 20, depending on what UNC and Virginia is. But yeah, and then you have Virginia Tech at home as well on February 23rd. So man, so that means that literally 4 weekends in a row. 4 weekends in a row. February 2nd, February 9th, February 16th, February 23rd. 4 straight Fridays in a row of huge duels. Mm-hmm. And I think one interesting thing with Cornell is the fact that Gwiz, the guy that we were saying is one of the greatest heavyweight wrestlers of all time, and definitely in-state legend, is going to be coaching against us as he is an assistant coach at Cornell. So a little bit of an interesting thing there. So Nigel, will you be there to poke a little bit at Gwiz a little bit? Be like, hey yo, you're wearing the wrong red, man. What you doing, bro?
I will not be poking Nick in any instance.
So wise move, Nigel. Wise move.
Wise. Smart.
I'm making a cutting board for him, so I'll probably, when he comes down here, so that's my shameless plug. I do woodworking, SmokeJonesFurniture.com. But outside of that, I think if you're looking at the dual schedule, very interesting. The one I'm kind of excited about, that Ohio State one, but also that UNI one. UNI, they wrestle tough. They always wrestle tough. UNI always wrestles tough. They're kind of, it's like playing Iowa, but only on defense, right? So you don't have to worry about it's just, it's going to be a tough out, right? You'll be able to beat them, but it's going to be a tough out, and it's hard to. So I'm excited for that one, and I'm excited for the Lock Haven one because their 125 is really good, I think. To be Anthony Nato, he might have been a finalist, he was a finalist a year or two ago. So we'll see.
That's amazing. I couldn't even tell you where that school's at.
Mm-hmm. Lock Haven, that's PA, Ohio, Rust Belt, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. Not surprised. And just to clarify, all 3 of those duels are happening on December 19th as a part of the collegiate wrestling duels.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, from a again, this is like on my third year of really getting into wrestling. Can you make the argument this is probably the best home slate that State's ever had, or is there something out there that maybe kind of tops it? And is Oklahoma State the most name recognized non-ACC school to come wrestle at State?
Back in the day, in the 70s, NC State was probably in the mix as much as they were now. So those are
at least from pop. I guess maybe the pop era.
In the pop era, absolutely. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would absolutely. I would say yeah.
Yeah, biggest name. Yeah, Oklahoma State.
Because sometimes those Virginia, like, I would say, like, don't, like, we're a little spoiled because sometimes those Virginia Tech teams are at, like, the number, like, they come in and they walk you 3 teams, but like.
Yeah, I was talking
like
non-ACC opponent. Yeah, but I was talking about non-ACC.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like Ohio State, they're not coming here. But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at the schedule in general, I don't think anyone outside of like Big Ten schools are wrestling a tougher schedule than this. Because the Big Ten has to wrestle Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, a combination of the 3 if you're not one of them. And then
plus Nebraska and Michigan are pretty good too. So.
Yeah. God, yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, but, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
Yeah, in Nebraska even too, right? Mm-hmm. So just looking from top to bottom, like this is going to be a fun year. You're going to see some good wrestlers, and beyond that, you're going to see some world champions, right? Like Vito is a world champion. We're going to be able to see him come here and wrestle. That's at the. We're not in Carter Finley for those tournaments or for those matches. We're going to be in the Neil
and Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I say Carter Finley? I knew that. I meant Reynolds. It's named something. Reynolds is not Reynolds anymore, right?
It's Reynolds. It's Reynolds Coliseum. It's Jimmy V Coliseum Jimmy V Arena at Reynolds Coliseum.
Okay.
Yeah. On KYAL floor.
Okay,
all right, so Nigel, so kind of give it to me to kind of wrap this up here. So if NC State is going to finish top 3 at NCAA's, what are the things that are going to need to happen once NCAA tournament time comes around? Like if you kind of give me all right, if Trent can go to finals, if Camacho can go to finals, if Faison can win a match, kind of give me your what's the blueprint? If at least this happens, then we're in a very good spot to win top 3.
The biggest blueprint to begin with, we got to qualify 10. We're going to need to qualify 10. Yes. And all 10 guys are going to need to at least get 2 matches. Besides that, I think Camacho's a final. If there's a combination of Camacho finalists, Kai finalist, Ed Scott All-American, Jackson Eric All-American, Ryan Jack All-American, and Trent in the finals as well, then
that sounds pretty successful.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a team that has more than that. That's not gonna win the whole thing, right? So Penn State is gonna be in the mix, Michigan's gonna be in the mix, Cornell's gonna be in the mix, and then I think then we're right there.
Yeah.
Right there as a team. Cool.
I like that blueprint. All right, y'all. So with that being said, that wraps up our 2023-2024 wrestling preview. I know these were a little bit long, but obviously, again, there's so much to dive through. There's so many wrestlers, which is a great problem to have. I mean, we're just like Nigel said, we're very spoiled at NC State that we have a really great top tier, I would say. I mean, top 8 wrestling program in the country. I mean, depending on who you talk to, I feel like that's a very subjective, Michael Jordan versus the LeBron James thing. But either way, it's awesome to be in that conversation, to say the least, y'all. So make sure, again, just like Greg even mentioned too earlier, and Chuck Coates, our guy, the biggest Institute Wrestling fan there is, has mentioned too, go buy a season tickets, y'all. It doesn't cost a whole lot. Tickets are cheap. And again, you can see some amazing duels. Again, February is going to be absolutely loaded, and the AC championships are in Chapel Hill too. So I mean, you got a lot of great wrestling right in your own backyard. So
speaking of tickets, I don't know if floor seat. This is the first year they introduced reserve seating. That's like $75 a ticket. I think if you don't, it's $50 a ticket for the season. And that's 5 matches, so it equates out to $10. And guess what? You get Wolfpack Club points.
That's right. So it's not a bad deal. Yep. So yeah, make sure to go and support these guys, y'all. Let's go support this team, and let's have what in my opinion should be the best season we've had. You know, it should be a banner year, absolutely. But looking forward to it. And again, make sure to go. You know, our man Nigel. First of all, thank you, Nigel, for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure. And appreciate your insight, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then again, for us, y'all, if you haven't already, hit that free subscribe button, y'all. Hit that notification bell. And make sure, again, if you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button and give us a follow. Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And go Pack, y'all.
Go Pack.